the idea of the Rangers women team is beyond the play. It's beyond the pitch. There's this popular thing I see on social media. They will say, what do you bring to the table? The Igbo nation is not only made great by men, it's also made great by women.
Hello and welcome to another Guinness World Record pre-event exclusive interview. I'm your host, Chigichi Agoram. Well, today we are discussing the never say die spirit, built to rise, never to fall. Spotlighting the resilient spirit of Enugu and by extension, Igbo. Today our guest is none other than Barrister Amobi Ezeaku, the CEO of Rangers International Football Club, Enugu. Good day, Barrister Amobi, and thank you so much for having us come into your space to have this conversation.
Yeah, good day. I'm happy to have you here, and I hope, and in fact, I know we are going to have an interesting conversation.
Absolutely. Seeing you wear that jersey has made my day. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning. Not really the beginning of beginnings, but from the beginning. From 2016, when you assumed office as GM.
As the team manager.
As a team manager. How has that journey been for you from 2016 up until now, given the challenges, the wins, and sometimes the losses, the accumulation of experiences, over time? I know after for a short you talked about resilience, but I want you to tell that story so you can motivate someone who's listening to you.
Yeah, I would say that from your introduction, I will answer this by saying that the never say die spirit is the heartbeat of who we are as a people. We went back to 2016. I came to this club as a young person at 26. In 2016, the club hadn't won any trophy for 32 years as at then. And when we came, I met the players, spoke to them heart to heart, found out what the problems were, and we started that campaign in the 2016 season. And to the glory of God, we won the league after 32 years. And in 2018, we won the Federation Cup after 35 years. And that's where the popular Asaba miracle happened. And thereafter, I resigned. I left the club in 2021 to go and do my UEFA certificate in football management and subsequently the FIFA Master, where I spent some time in the Montfort in Leicester, in SDA Bocconi in Milan, and in Neuchâtel in Switzerland. So for me, these experiences from being the team manager, from also working as transfer marketing system manager of the club, opened my eyes to the mentality of players, to the mentality of our people as Igbo. Because as a team manager, you are not just managing the players, you're also managing the supporters, you're managing the fans, managing the people on the street who love the club because of the history of the club. So I will say that coming now as the CEO of the club, after having spent about 6-7 years as team manager and going to study, I've come back with more experience, more maturity, more patience to, listen to people and to see how we can advance the fortunes of the club, professionalize the club. And you can see what's happening since we came on board in 2023 till now. We've really advanced the fortunes of the club. We've also opened new vista of engagement in women football, youth system, the academicals, cutting razor games, the Rangers Foundation, the Rangers Innovation Hub, where a lot of things happen. We expanded the Rangers media team. That's why everybody is talking about the club. The striking feature of what we've done is how transparent we've operated. Anybody can walk into this office to ask questions, and we answer with evidence, with facts, with figures. And it speaks a lot about our idea about this club being intertwined with the spirit of the community, the society. Right. I'm not just Enugu, the South is the region. Because if you study history well, you'll find that after the war in 1970, Rangers came as the pillar of hope for the people, as a vessel of connecting the people's shattered heart, the people's broken spirit. And from the moment we started playing, people began again to believe. People started forgetting. Well, not always so easy to forget the happenings during wars, but people started, embracing that newness because of the spirit of Rangers. The spirit of Rangers is a very big one. It's a spirit that renews even a dead soul.
Absolutely. While you were talking, something caught my mind. Rangers became 55 this year, and to commemorate her birthday, there was a documentary, the Never Say Die documentary about the history of Rangers and all that. Now tell us, because you mentioned Rangers being a pillar of hope after the shattering experiences people had during the war. How did that really play out with the founding members of Rangers? That's the first question. I want to tie it to the second question. And how has Rangers continued to be a pillar for community engagement post-war and in contemporary times? How has that really worked out?
You see, after the formation of this club, history tells us that the likes of Chief Jerry Enyazu, Godwin Achebe, after the formation,
Godwin Achebe was the skipper, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the likes of Christian Chukwu Imokala, who also just lives by the corner there,
really?
They understood what they wanted to use this club to achieve. And I always tell people that there is what I call the soft power of Rangers,
right,
in reuniting our people. So I would say that from that time till this moment, it passed from one generation to the other. The touch is a very spiritual touch. You don't know, it's like an opium. You don't know when it consumes you. And when that opium gets into your veins, you hear nothing else but the drum of Rangers. So, and you know that Rangers is the only club that has never been relegated in Nigeria as of today. And we hope it never goes down. It's something most of us can't even explain. What we know is that we are coming, we are putting out our best, putting our heart into this, and trying to make sure that the founding fathers are never disappointed. Just the other day, a few months ago, we lost one of the greatest captains of this team, Chairman Christian Chukwu. And you can imagine what he achieved in his lifetime. Captained this club, captained the Green Eagles, now the Super Eagles, coached the Super Eagles as well, won laurels, and continued in humility. And that's one striking feature about Rangers. In all of our glory, we remain a humble people. And not just Rangers, it's a reflection of who we are as Ndi Igbo. That's why I always argue that when you see people who are so proud about what they've achieved or where they have attained, then you need to ask questions, because Ndi Igbo, by history, are very humble people. And you can see that from the lives of Christian Chukwu, legend Imokala, who is still here with us, African best goalkeeper at the time, but he still is very humble and all that. So when you come to the Rangers of today, we've not departed from that tradition. We've just advanced it. We've modernized. We're trying to make sure we go in line with changing tides and time.
That's right.
And that's why you see that, for instance, the badge of our club remains undented. We continue to just try to add a little touch to the design, but the flying antelope, the spirit of the flying antelope, it must continue to fly. The white and red, the white especially, the traditional white that we started wearing in the 70s, we continue to, rebrand, add certain features. All of these are things we do not joke with. And today you are here, you can see how beautiful this place is. It's as a result of our desire to make sure that our institution continues to grow from strength to strength. So I can say for sure that with what we've instituted, especially, I'm always proud to say it, especially the academical, the youth system, we will find that in the next 15-20 years, you see young boys, young girls who believe in the vision, the Rangers movement.
Absolutely. I'm actually intrigued with the concept of the institution because from what you've said, the never say die spirit exemplifies resilience, hope, and then humility. But given this current generation and the kind of influences they've had, do you think that this generation is losing out on this spirit of never say die? And how would you say that the Rangers, given the fact that you have several, you did mention, opened up a lot of vistas, how would you say Rangers is reaching out to building communities so that some of these negative influences can be annulled?
Yeah, I would say that the younger generation, they are embracing the spirit of Rangers. They just need to know about the history, and that's what we are doing with the Rangers Foundation, with our school visits. If you look at what the chairman of the foundation particularly is doing, Mr. Ebere Amarizu, he goes from school to school talking about Rangers, engaging kids in exercises. We do our school rounds where we tell children about Rangers, donate jerseys, balls, books, and it gets into their head. And that's why in our academy system we have up to 150 boys, yes, who come out every Saturday and Sunday to train, and we monitor their academic progress. We go to their schools unannounced, and about 4 of them are under the scholarship of the Rangers Foundation. And that's the vision for us. So I would say that people are embracing the movement. If you cast your mind back to 2013 for 2023-24 when we won the league, I remember a game, Rangers versus Enyimba, here at the cathedral. People were climbing the floodlights just to see. Young people from the universities around the city, from the universities in neighboring states, Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, came down just because Rangers were playing against Enyimba. Old men, old women, traders, bus drivers, keke drivers, all of these people know that this club belongs to them, and they came to identify. And when we won the league in 2023-2024 season, when we landed at the airport, at the Akanediam International Airport, thousands of people left what they were doing, came to welcome the team. It tells you about what the club means to them. So I will say confidently that the passion is still there. Notwithstanding the economic realities, notwithstanding that people have to stay committed to their work, people still understand that the symbol of Rangers is the truest identity of our people as Ndigo. This symbol is unadulterated, it's without blemish, it's unique. It's a symbol that sends tears down your eyes. The old, the young, the women, the boys, everybody. Priests love it, traditionalists love it, old, young, everybody. I've come for a game where a woman heavily pregnant came to watch our game. I was like, what was the motivation? And she said she feels so happy about what Rangers represents to the people of this region. And it's always important to say that Rangers is about the region. It's a club for regional unification, especially after the war. Okay, so we must never forget the idea of the institutionalization of the club, the establishment of the club, because it is this story that will really continue to ignite the fire in the hearts of the young ones. That's to understand that even though history is no longer studied in our schools, but this history can traditionally be passed down from one generation to the other by just word of mouth, by speaking to them and all that. A lot of beautiful stories abound. I just talked to you about the Asaba miracle.
Yes, I was even going to get there.
Yeah, but then people should also know that in the 80s, Rangers had gone to Uganda to play, and they won the club in Uganda. I think Kampala City Council Football Club. Idi Amin was the president, yes. And the colonel, who was the team manager in that team, threw his boys into the cell because Rangers won them. And when President Idi Amin got to learn of what happened, he said, no, release them because they played against the greatest club in Africa. which is Rangers. And President Idi Amin threw a party for Rangers, and they released the team that they defeated. You can see the idea. You can see the power of our club, the power of Rangers. Most presidents then identified with this club. There had been a game also, a Champions League game, where our players were held hostage. And President Olusegun Obasanjo, I think, sent the presidential aircraft to bring our players back. That is the Rangers for you, the power of this club. And you don't want to talk about Madam Rangers of blessed memory, Mrs. Julie, the only woman who was allowed into a stadium in Egypt many years ago because she followed Rangers to travel. So we have a lot of interesting stories. We don't want to talk about Alhaji. They started calling him Alhaji because he got his head broken, his head bandaged, and he used it to play. He didn't want to chicken out because we are known as a resilient people. And that spirit of resilience is passed down from one generation to the next, not just in football, in politics, in medicine, in law. And you can see Enugu today. You can see how beautiful our city is. It's about resilience in leadership. It's about belief in the movement that these people must experience peace, experience greatness, experience joy through governance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Really inspiring. Let's talk for a minute about the players, the founding players. Quite recently, we lost a chairman, and it was a well-known fact that he was quite sick before he passed. What exactly is the welfare package? Okay, scratch that. What exactly is the healthcare package of players, Rangers, professional Rangers players currently, as compared to what it was with the founding fathers?
Yeah, currently it's better because all our players are insured.
There's an insurance package,
active insurance package. And I'll take your mind back to the COVID era.
Okay.
I was still the team manager. Sadly, we lost a player. One of the players we hoped would have, gone to, the top of his career. He was traveling to Lagos and he drove into a stationary vehicle. If I George, may he so rest in peace.
Amen.
As at 2020, we had to invoke the insurance, and the family, the estate of Ifeanyi George, got about 20 million naira. Yes, because we have an active. That's the first thing we do in Rangers. Before the season starts, we make sure that every documentation when it comes to insurance is sorted out. Currently, our insurance is running with Premier Insurance, and we don't joke with it. When a player is injured, the player continues to earn his salary, the player continues to be monitored by the team doctors, the physio, the nurses, until the player recovers. And we write to the insurance company to say, we've got an injured player. The player doesn't have to suffer. So, but I will say that when you juxtapose what used to be then and what currently we have, you see that now is better, because then professional football wasn't all that known. People were playing to League Orange, but now people are playing with a future. You want to nurture this star. You want to make sure that if his bone is broken, you fix this bone and continue to nudge him to do his best. And again, look at the way the team travels, for instance. When a trip is over 6-7 hours, we try to find a way to fly, notwithstanding the cost implication. And again, it comes back to governance, because His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Peter Barr, wants to see that level of professionalism. Just last week, the team came back from Meduguri, tried to link a flight from here to Abuja. They were saying no seats, and the boys had to go by road to Abuja. But you must fly to Meduguri because you know how the region is. So it speaks a lot about what we want to achieve with respect to professionalizing our club. And I'm so happy to say, with all sense of humility, that we are getting there. Not 100%, but where we are today is not where we were before.
That's progress.
Okay, so the players are okay. One of the best defenders in our club, Buchi Ifeanyi, has been out for over 6-7 months. He has been earning his pay, his insurance is running. will take care of his medication and all that. It's not even bad. It's where he's receiving his treatment, for example. So these are very verifiable instances, and we do it with so much joy because we are passionate about our desire, about our vision to see our club compete amongst the big clubs in the world.
That's right.
And we remain relentless. We are not shaken by maybe the economic realities or whatever people say, because we believe that our strategic plan must be seen through. We have a strategic plan that has been updated, submitted to FIFA even, and everybody is happy about it. So welfare, health care is priority for us. Because it's about the body. You keep running on the pitch and it's not easy. So you have to make sure there is no training, even if the coach says today we are going to have a light training, we are just going to run. We insist the doctor must be there, the physio must be there, because you never can tell. You don't take chances with people's lives. There was a game Rangers went to play somewhere in the north. It took our doctor to make sure a soul was saved, because we always travel with our oxygen tank. We won't say we are going to Kaduna and we can't carry the oxygen tank. No, you have to fit it in. If you are flying, tell them. And today everybody knows, if you are going to the airport, arrange that there's the oxygen tank. Oh yeah, are we checking it in? Are we not? All these things are things that must be constant, and it requires belief in the strategic plan, which everybody is now embracing.
Absolutely. Now, sports, well, especially football, is one game that it's colorblind. What do you think it will take, knowing that Rangers embodies the spirit of resilience, the never say die spirit, like in the Igbo parlance, kwechiri, they will kwechiri until they have their vision met. What will it take to get the Nigerian league in the same level as the English Premier League? Because the rave is massive when they talk about Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea. The rave is massive. But I often ask myself, what will it take to get us to have that level of excitement when it comes to our own leagues, our local leagues? What will it take us to get there?
Yeah, thank you for this question. You see, when you study the history and humanities of sports, you will understand that sports or institutions grow when they have measurable strategic plans, or strategic plans that they can, realistic strategic plans. What is thriving for Europe? TV. People want to see. People want to watch. In 2016, we had our games on Super Sports, and it was people were following. People knew the players. Chisome Buchulam, Osasu Koro, Papi Sane, Usmane. People could relate, and then thereafter it went off. Let's even go back as at the 2000s. The PSL, the South African League, had come to Nigeria to understudy the Nigerian League. Yeah, I think when Obaseki, Mr. Davis, Inouye, and co were there, and then it was the Nigerian Premier League. Low, we are in the picture at that time. So it means we can get it right with sincerity. We can get it right when we have a strategic plan that says, okay, we must be on TV. We must make sure that fans come out. We must look at when these games are fixed. We used to play here in Enugu on Friday nights as at 2016. And the idea of playing on Friday nights then was when you close from your trade at Obuete, you can just go home and shower and come to the stadium at 7 and enjoy yourself. When you want to go for vigil, your church activities that starts at maybe 9, you watch the game and you go. You want to go to club, you watch the game, from there you go. All these things are things institutions or countries do. I don't believe that I should go to Europe and bring hook, line and sinker what is working in the EPL or in the Spanish La Liga and come and say it has to work in the Nigerian league. No. Yes, you have to consider all those peculiarities and then try to make sure that you fit them in. Okay, so I believe, as I yesterday I read in the news that the Nigerian Premier Football League, they've entered into an MOU with the company, so local TVs can show the matches. For instance, if Rangers is playing NTA Enugu and show it. If Enyimba is playing, there is an NTA in Barr, in Abia State, they can show it. First, like I said, let's be on TV. Second, the welfare of the players generally must be taken into account. Thirdly, media, which I think most clubs are now using. You have to use your tools: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Trade, anyone. Just push what you do out there. People are following, they may not comment, but they are seeing what's happening. And try to really think outside the box. You know, we've gone from the era of going to radios to announce games to really doing some interesting things on social media or talking to people one-on-one, flyers, a lot of things. But I think we just have to have the courage to really think outside the box. The courage to try is what really matters, if you ask me. That courage to try can make our league go back to where it used to be. There used to be a time when I was still very young. My father would always bring the radio. If Rangers are playing, and you'll be listening, and I'll just be hearing. That's how I learned to run commentary. So we need to get back to that era. Our games on radio, our games on TV. The players are out there. People know the players, and people of our league. We must just beautify it. When did you start really following the EPL? The EPL had been in existence, but then they started beautifying it, put it on TV, and boom, people caught up with that. So it's for us to really look inward and see, do we want to play games Sundays when they are playing, or do we want to play Thursdays? Like there are things we can do. But I'm just the GM of Rangers. There are people up there in charge of the Football Federation, people running the league, the league board as well. So all we can do is to suggest, and we see how it goes. But I can tell you, they are taking steps in the right direction, and Rome was not built in a day. If you go to Rome today, they are still constructing. So we'll continue till we get to the point we want to be.
All right, so there's this thing about during the war, there's this, in my opinion, really, you don't have to quote me, I feel that the role of women during the Civil War has not really been captured, because there were women that were taken from this land to other places. There were women that were raped, that were killed. It was the women were the ones going for the attack. So when you said that you have Rangers, the women wing, I was really impressed. So what was the motivation behind that inclusion?
Yeah, equality is a thing for me. Equality, equity, the power of womanhood cannot be overemphasized. And yeah, you were right to say that the role of the women during the war has not really been talked about the way they talk about the one. Yeah, and that's why in my earlier discourse I talked about Mrs. Julie Alale, Madam Rangers, who subsequently became, in fact, the welfare officer of Rangers, took care of the boys. So we instituted the Rangers women team because we felt, just like you said, that women were also involved in the war. And currently we believe in the doctrine of equality. If the boys are playing, the girls should play as well. Girls can play. And for now, they've made us proud. Within a short time, they've gone to Abuja to get promoted to the championship. So in the next season, next year, they'll be playing in the Nigerian women championship. And beyond that, there is this balance it has brought to our club. Our club, a club historical for, whatever happened after the war. And the women angle now coming to limelight to say, yes, the Igbo nation is not only made great by men, it's also made great by women, great women. There was talk of Alale, what of Dora Akunyili, what of the many big women making us proud. Currently around the world, this is Kanayo Awani, President Barr. She's from this region as well. A lot Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The idea of the Rangers women team is beyond the play. It's beyond the pitch. It's about, we are saying that we see the sacrifices of women. We see the love they continue to sprinkle in our lives. We see the energy they bring to the table. There is this popular thing I see on social media. They will say, what do you bring to the table? We are saying with the Rangers women team that women bring a lot to the table. And we are relentless about our vision there. Yesterday I had a meeting with them. I spoke to them about what we really want to do. And the good news is that the governor is particular about the women. He may not always come out to speak about that, but I've had interactions with him and he has said to me, look, I love this because he believes in the power of womanhood. And in that team, we've also had girls being scouted now by the Football Federation. In that team, we have graduates as well, and we note them. Yeah, you have your degree, or you can do a master's and you still play. So the advantage they have is that we are open-minded and we try to really discuss as friends and not a management-player relationship. The relationship is there, but we are all friends. So the Rangers women team, I will say that the sacrifices of people like Madam Julie, Madam Rangers, is now, this is the fruit. Because you need to see when these girls play. They have a 15-year-old who is a striker. It's unimaginable the kind of energy Chisom Onuchukwu possesses. She ravaged everyone in Abuja. 15. The family stays in Abakba. You need to see Ogo, who is 14. So you can imagine the discovery at this age and what they will be in the next 4-5 years by the special grace of God. So for us, this aspect of our club, we don't joke with it. I've spoken countless times to the captain of the Super Falcons, Rashida Ajibade, and she continually said to me, you don't know what you are doing for these girls and for the generation of girls to come. Yeah, but I believe that, like I earlier said, the girl child can play. So these girls can, and they are really showing that they can.
Absolutely. It's quite astonishing and impressive what you're doing with the club. I know we've had some interviews and we've spoken with people who are building communities through housing solutions, building communities through tourism, and you're building communities through sports, football, and it's pretty amazing what you're doing. Now, this is actually the spirit behind the Guinness World Record. We're set to break a record for most interviews conducted in 12 hours, and it's centered around healthcare. Some of the hashtags that we're using for the event is Enugu Talk. I heard that from one of our mentors. I mean, he saw it even before we even knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
So we believe that Enugu Talk, we believe in the ideology of Akurono. We believe in the never say die spirit, that resilient spirit that tells you to stand up and keep going. Even if you fall, stand up, dust yourself up and keep going. So I thank you so much for that. But before we let you go, I want you to say a few words of endorsement or support for the Guinness World Record, knowing that you are someone who exemplifies the same spirit with which the world record is, coming to Enugu. Because I was talking to someone and he said, for once, let's something exciting. Because it's always Lagos, Abuja, Lagos. So I want you to say a thing or two in terms of an endorsement of the event, meaning that it's the same spirit of resilience and the same spirit of Enugu we talk that we are all, pursuing what we're pursuing in our diverse areas of endeavor.
For me, I feel that the Guinness World Record coming here with respect to longest interview. It's a perfect reflection of who we are as a people. It's a bold statement about the growth of Enugu. It's a bold statement about the transformation happening in Enugu. It's also a bold statement about our identity as a people. It says our story will be heard around the world. It says people must know about Rangers. It says people must know about Otiba Junction. People must know about the history of Kokam. People must know why we love our Opa. People must know all of this. People must know why we adore our Abacha and Dunkwacha. So I feel that the Guinness World Record, the idea that Enugu is in the same line with the Guinness World Record is mind-blowing. And for real, I fully, without any iota of doubt, endorse it, and I really wish everyone behind this the very best.
So right now, I'm inspired to ask you another question.
No problems.
Talking about telling our stories on a global platform, it just it just occurred to me that I need to ask you of the diasporan involvement in the Ranger story.
Yeah.
How has that been so far?
I'm so excited to speak about it. And once you ask about diaspora, I think of my dear elder brother, Mr. Ed Keazo. My God, he speaks about not just Rangers, but about the Igbo, the transformation of the Igbo.
He's actually
land.
a collector of the Igbo culture.
With so much energy, with so much passion, with so much enthusiasm. And I can tell you that we don't need to let people tell our story. We must be the ones who tell our story, because we feel, we experience firsthand what has happened. So the diasporans are doing a lot. There is a woman, her name is Mrs. Abi Emenike. She's in London. She follows everything we do in Rangers. There are a lot of Igbos in Egypt, in North Africa, and a lot of our people in Europe, South America. They reach out, but the one that stands out, or the person that stands out, I spoke of Mr. Ed, and then there is a man who is the patron of the S Rangers. This man loves not just the current Rangers, but the S Rangers, and he continues to support. They call him Ezomogo. So he comes back and he wants to know what is happening. He's in the US as well. And I can tell you, our story will never die. The story of Ndibo, the story of Rangers, the story of very significant features of our essence as a people will never die. But we have to also encourage more storytellers, people who must come to tell our story. People should be told about the ingenuity and strength of late Odumegwu Ojukwu. People should know about Chinua Achebe and what inspired his writings. People should know about Nnamdi Azikiwe and what he did, not just around the world, but even in his village in Onitsha, and what the wife does currently and where the kids are. People should know of all of this. M.I. Okpara and many Igbos, especially those who have gone to be with the Lord, what they have done to make sure that the Igbo story continues to blow the mind of people. So we must tell these stories. And in contemporary times, what of those making us proud? I earlier spoke about the literary icon, Chimamanda. What of those making us proud in medicine? What of those making us proud in aviation, in law, architecture? A lot of Igbo are thriving. I don't even need to go far. And in the just concluded NBA conference, people were praising the governor of the state. He's making us proud. People are proud to say, I'm from Enugu. Because the governor is working.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
So those diasporans are telling our story. And one gap they've now covered is that idea that they know it, they can Google it from there, but now they ask to be sure that is actually happening. And with the introduction or with the advancement in technology, things are easier to get, stories are easier to verify and all that. So yes, I would say there is this beauty with what the diasporans are doing in making sure that our stories are told around the world and our stories are preserved. There is no corner of the world you will go to where the Igbo story is not known.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Barrister Amobi Ezeaku. It was fun talking to you. I actually wanted to continue, but thankfully we have run out of time.
Continue, go and buy
and
when we finish eating, we continue.
All right, thank you so very much, and thank you for staying with us up until now. It was an interesting conversation, don't you agree? I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Don't forget, you can catch up on this full interview on Dr. Chigi TV at YouTube and of course on Facebook. Thank you so much one more time, and until we come your way next time, goodbye and God bless.